Good morning, boys and girls, and all the parents out there as well. How are you all doing? I'm doing pretty good, thank you. So today I thought I will give you a break from all the homework and basically all the work today. I know you are doing a lot of homework. You have, 6, 7, 8 subjects, and you get homework from each and every one of those subjects. So today you can just relax, sit back and listen to a story. Today I'm going to read you a story. So today will be listening exercise, listening practice. And the story will be Sleeping Beauty. Okay? So, Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, there were a king and a queen who had everything in the world except for a child. When at last Princess Aurora was born, the king jumped for joy and announced, "It's time to celebrate." He organized a magnificent ball. The fairies who lived in the kingdom would be the star guests, the VIP guests. But in his excitement, the king carelessly forgot to invite one of them. When the fairies arrived at the glittering party, they gave baby Aurora their gifts of wisdom, beauty, courage, and everything a princess could wish for. Excuse me. But suddenly, the forgotten fairy thundered in. "How dare you forget me?" she screeched. "On her 15th birthday, the princess shall prick her finger on a spindle and die." And she stomped out furiously. Everyone looked in horror at the final fairy, who still had her gift to give, hoping she could help. "I cannot remove this curse, but I can help the princess," she said. "When she pricks her finger, she will not die. Instead, she will fall asleep for 100 years. After that, up and down the kingdom, the king ordered that all spindles be destroyed, and everyone obeyed. So they are destroying and chopping up every spindle. And if you don't know what a spindle is, I will show you. This is a spindle. So you make clothes of it or other pieces of clothing. Many years passed, and Aurora grew up to be just as clever, brave, and beautiful as the fairies had promised. When the princess turned 15, the palace celebrated with a party. During a very long game of hide and seek, Aurora stumbled upon a door she had never seen before. So, they're playing hide and seek in the castle, and Aurora, she finds a door she has never seen before. "How did I miss that?" she gasped and pushed open the door to explore. And down and down and down twisted a shadowy winding staircase. Whirr, 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 came a strange sound from the room ahead. Suddenly, there in front of her was an old woman spinning. So, the stairs go down and down and down. And at the bottom of the stairs she found a room, and an old woman is spinning on a spindle. "Excuse me, but what is that?" Aurora asked, pointing at the spinning wheel. "Why don't you have a little try?" said the woman, with a sly smile, for she was really the forgotten fairy. But no sooner had Aurora touched the spindle than she pricked her finger and fell down into a deep, 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 deep sleep. So the old woman lets Aurora try the spindle, but as soon as she does, she pricks her finger and she falls down into a deep, deep, deep sleep. And the king and queen in their throne room, the servants in the hall, the horses in the stables, the pigeons on the roof, and even the dogs in the yard, they all fell fast asleep as well. So everyone falls asleep at the same time as Aurora, even the dogs. Years passed, and a thick hedge of thorns grew in a tangle around the palace, hiding it from the world. Brave princes who had heard the fairy tale of the sleeping princess would try to find the palace. But each one soon gave up and ran back home. So many princes had heard the fairy about Aurora, the sleeping beauty, and they tried to get to the palace, but they could not. So eventually they all gave up and they ran back home. Then one day, exactly 100 years after the wicked spell had been cast, a lucky prince arrived in the kingdom. As he hacked at the sharp thorns, they suddenly transformed into beautiful flowers and let him pass. So he's hacking at the thorns, and then all of a sudden they all changed into beautiful flowers and they let him pass through. "I can't understand what those other princes were moaning about." The prince smiled and trotted off to find the princess. So he says he doesn't understand why all the other princes gave up so quickly. So he walked past the sleeping pigeons, horses, and dogs, and he all skipped them. Past the sleeping servants and the sleeping king and queen he crept. And down, 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 down the winding stairs he went, until he came to the room where Princess Aurora lay asleep. So he walks past all the sleeping animals and all the servants and even the king and the queen to find and he went down the long staircase, and finally he found Princess Aurora sleeping. The princess's beauty left the prince speechless. He fell instantly in love. He couldn't resist taking her in his arms and kissing her, and the moment his lips touched hers, the princess woke up, and so did everyone in the palace. "At last!" Princess Aurora gasped. "I was beginning to think no one was ever going to rescue me." "Right, I think it's time to party." So her beauty took his breath away. So he kissed her, and as soon as he kissed her, everyone woke up. And now it's time for a party. The king threw the biggest, glaciest party ever, and this time he was careful not to leave anyone out by accident. He did, however, leave one particular fairy off his invitation list on purpose. Princess Aurora and her prince lived happily ever after, and luckily the forgotten fairy was never seen again. So a big party, and the king this time, he made sure he invited everyone except the fairy that cast the spell, and no one ever saw her again. And the prince and the princess lived happily ever after. And that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. So, a video clip with just a relaxing story. Okay, good job. I will see you next time. Bye bye.